Take a moment to get really comfortable. It's always helpful to be comfortable when we're doing these practices. Just notice that. Notice if you can sit comfortably or if you're lying down. Notice if you can lie down comfortably. If you're not quite warm enough, see if you can get yourself a blanket or something and let yourself really settle. And bring your mind in from other times and other places, and let's just focus for now on what's happening in this little area of our body and our breath and our mind. And all of that is coming up and being seen in this larger space of awareness, the larger space of connection between us as well. It's kind of wonderful that when we tune in, we can notice these things. We can notice that we're experiencing something in our lives. We've got a body that has certain sense perceptions, and when we notice our breath, we'll notice what's going on. If we're holding our breath, we could take a few deep breaths and relax. If we're not breathing very deeply, we could kind of practice a couple of deeper breaths. And there's always something going on in our mind. We can always notice what's happening in our mind. Sometimes what's going on is fairly quiet, sometimes it's fairly frantic. These are things that we always experience when we tune in. We notice what's happening in our body. We notice what's going on with our breath. And we notice what's happening in our mind, in the thoughts as well as the deeper layers of the mind, the stillness in the mind. When we look at it like that and we tune in, often we're able, at least for a little while, to have a bit of a balanced perspective. Everything is in our awareness, the body and our breath and our thoughts, as well as the fact that we're witnessing or observing it. Our usual experience in life is that one thing takes precedence. If there's pain, for instance, in our body, often that's what we're really focused on. If there's some kind of an emotional pain or compulsive thinking, then we often forget about the body really and just kind of focus in on the thoughts. And our practice is an opportunity to take that step back and notice there's more to our experience than one of those elements. There's a lot of layers to our experience. Another thing we notice is that these layers are not separate from each other. When we take a deep breath, we affect the physical body. The lungs open, the diaphragm comes down. There are physical activities and physical results when we do that. Our whole system settles on a deep, long exhalation. And when we're focused on that, oftentimes our thoughts kind of settle or move to the background as well, so we get a bit of a break from that. Let's take a few minutes to really work with the body and the breath. Let your thoughts be a little bit more in the background. We can always pick those up later. They have a lot of energy normally. We have lots of opportunities to think and let thoughts be the focus. But let's let the body and the breath take center stage. And notice where your attention goes when you turn into the body, when you tune in. What is it that draws your attention first? And if what's drawing your attention feels tight or contracted, or there's some kind of intensity to the energy there, let all of your attention focus on that for a moment. As you breathe into your area that you're paying attention to, put your focus there. And as you breathe out, see if you can allow everything to soften and release. For some people, that might be the forehead and the eyebrows. Some of us might have had our attention drawn to the back of the neck or the shoulders, the large muscles of the upper back. Someone else, it might be the jaw, the mouth, and the throat. The chest and the heart center. The belly. Continue to let your attention be guided by what seems to want attention from you right now. And if nothing in particular is showing up, then let your attention rest on your whole body. Maybe do a slow kind of scan, starting at the top of the head, and gradually let your attention drift lower and lower through your body. As you attend to your body, allow the relaxation to deepen. Really keep yourself focused on what's happening in your body right now. Could be a sense perception, could be a sense of energy, or some kind of sensation in your body. Rest your attention there. Sometimes what we notice is a reluctance or kind of a turning away. And in our practice, we're never aggressive, we're never pushing. It's really just a noticing. If that's what's happening, that's fine. We can rest with that, or rest our attention around the sensation on the edges perhaps, or focus on a different area. As we relax that area, relax the whole body. And we can also turn our attention to our breathing that's happening in the body. The breath is moving different parts of our body. And breath and energy are also another layer, a deeper layer of experience. We can notice what's happening with the breath. Or we can do a breathing practice, like working with the continuity of the breath, where we really focus on that kind of natural finish of the exhale and then how it turns into the inhale. There's a different quality as we breathe in. There's a nourishing, more activating quality of the breath as we breathe in. As soon as we're finished breathing in, being willing to let go into the exhale. The awareness of the body is still there, and it moves a little bit into the background as we're focusing more on the breath. Notice that we can do an observation and a practice with the breath and still remain resting, that it's an effortless kind of a practice. It can be quite lovely, kind of a gentle flow and rocking of the breath. That process of relaxing as we breathe out, and then the turnaround into the inhale, the freshness of the new breath. The release as we breathe out. One thing we notice when we're doing a relaxation practice with the body and the breath is that thoughts start to come into the mind. And that's fine. That's the nature of that one layer of the mind, to generate thought. Let's turn our attention to thought for a moment, noticing what is happening in the mind. The qualities of that experience, if it's fairly calm, if it's kind of agitated. And notice that thoughts come in as words and as images. We hear thoughts. We might be able to see the words. we see images. And some thoughts really affect our energy and our bodies, and others are more neutral. They just kind of flow on through and then they're gone. Thoughts are pretty interesting. Sometimes we have a brand new thought. We have some new understanding or some new insight. Most often, and most of our thoughts are very familiar. And that repetition is one of the ways that the mind works. Likely based on our primitive survival system. So with this interest, let's watch the thought stream for a bit. Remain somewhat aware of your body and your breathing. In particular, remain aware of how thoughts are affecting your body and breathing. Notice a thought will come up, and sometimes there's a train of thoughts and then it's silent. Just notice the quality of your thought for a bit. Try to remain in touch with the witness or the observer. If you get carried away, just bring yourself back to that perspective as well. And then let go of that concentration on thought and step back into that observer of the whole picture. There's our body. Our breath and energy. Our thoughts. And all the interaction that goes on in those three layers. And there's our higher level of mind, our intuition, our wisdom. There's this observation. And as you reflect back on your experience over the last 15 or 20 minutes, notice if there's kindness there for you, if there's resistance or any kind of judging. Notice if there could be an acceptance of what is. Even if it's not what we prefer at a given moment, if there can be an acceptance of it. A kindness or compassion along with that acceptance. And then bring to mind the other people in your life, the other people in the practice right now, the other people in the world, that we're all here together, moving through our lives together, affecting each other. And there could be an acknowledgement that our lives and other people have an effect on us, on our energy, on our minds, the thoughts, our breath, our bodies. And again, that's just part of how it works as a human being. We have these bodies, we have lives, we have interactions. And then when you're ready, open your eyes.